stop being lazy. Yeah. And I became creative. And I learned how to create it. And now that pride's for me. So come see. Oh, come here.
Welcome back to the Silver Lining Podcast. I am your host, Sterlington Boat Factory, with my co-host, X Camster. How you doing, X Camster? How you doing, X Camster?
We have the silver lining after dark.
Ooh, talk dirty to me, baby.
We are going
All right. So, hopefully we're gonna be talking dirty in a good way. Be like, ooh, yeah, Falcons should win by 20 in this game. That's that.
right. Hopefully, we in the Mile High Club coming back with a dub.
I love it. I love it. I love it. So before we break down Denver, because this game we're gonna break down what is this, week 11? Week 11, Atlanta's a week 11 game in the Mile High Stadium in Denver. Before we get into that though, anything else you want to say about last week's game before we break down this one?
Nothing much. I'm ready to move past it. Still got a 4-1 record in the division. Would have been nice to be 5-0, but hey, couldn't sweep it this year. But we are still in the driver's seat. Got a 2-game cushion. I am feeling confident about this team. We got a tough stretch down the road, but that's okay. That's okay. We got to win these tough games. It's going to show the character of this team. It's going to show if we even deserve to be a playoff team. Because the Bucks have pretty much a cupcake final quarter stretch down the rest of the road. And we actually got some teams that are pretty decent that we actually have to go into their building and beat them. So it's really going to show some character. It's going to show us who we really are. And I'm looking forward to it. We the same old Falcons, or have we moved past that? I think we have.
Well, look, I think I'm ready to admit that maybe I was overreacting a little bit. All right. I was very much on an emotional high leading up to and through the game.
It's the same. I get it, dude.
And I really wanted this one. Just to if for no other reason, I wanted this one to deny them that. Because I started really giving perspective on it. And you know what it is? It's one game for us. It's our first loss in the division. But for them, when you really put it in proper perspective, we already beat them this year. Their Super Bowl was not getting swept by us. That's what their Super Bowl was. Their Super Bowl was getting a victory against us amidst a lost season. Not even a sweep, a victory against us in a lost season. And you know what? You know what they say, sometimes the sequel sucks. Hell, we just had Folly of Duh. Shit the bed. And you know what else? Folly of Duh stinks. French Quarter, Folly of Duh. I'm sensing some similarities here. You know what I'm saying? Maybe French sequels suck. Maybe that's what the fuck it is. Maybe we should have played the Saints in New Orleans first, and then we bring it to Atlanta for the sequel, and then that'll make it a better sequel. You know what I'm saying? But whatever. But yeah, I think it does suck to lose that one. Just because, like you said, this the road ahead. It's gonna have some pitfalls in it. It's gonna have some tough teams. But that look, it's the NFL. One, they all tough, and we can be real. Some are tougher than others, but they all tough. And if you want to be a good team, you gotta beat good teams. All right. If the Bucks are a better team than us, then they'll catch us. And they did play some good teams this year and beat some. The only loss that Detroit had was at the Bucks' hands. The Bucks, the Philadelphia Eagles have lost 2 games this year, one to us and one to the Bucks. Although, while the Bucks may have beaten them by a larger margin, I think we got a bigger feather in our cap, as when we played them, it was on the road. And they also they didn't have AJ Brown, but they did have Devontae Adams,
And we ruined Jason
and
Kelsey night.
we did not. Yeah, they was on Justin Kelsey night. We didn't have. No. What happened? Excuse me. When the Bucks played them, they played them in Tampa. No Devontae. No AJ Brown. No Lane Johnson, I believe. So like, I'm like, y'all played a shell of that team, but they did win though, and they did win in Detroit as a good team should, right? Um, but look, if they are a good team, like I said, as a good team should, you beat them twice. I mean, you beat a good team twice, all right, and you're gonna have to beat some more going forward. And the road looks scary, but it doesn't look insurmountable. We play the
Exactly.
Chargers, right? We we got the Broncos, but look, Broncos look now. The Broncos are a scary team, and look, I'm gonna let you know now. I have a lot of concerns about the Broncos, but the Broncos are 5-5. All right, they're not 10-0 with the 85 Bears defense or the Orange Crush defense. They 5-5. They've been failed. They can be failed again.
Oh,
All
I
right,
love it, dude. Like, look,
you
look
know,
at all the teams we're playing that are like, they're not the division leaders. They're not world beaters. We're playing teams in the same kind of bubble as us.
right?
Playoff contenders on the hunt and playoff contenders. And right
Yeah.
now, I mean, we're 6-4 leading the division, but we're kind of in this. We're essentially in the same bubble as them. Like, what we got: the Chargers,
Look,
Denver, Washington. These are all teams.
what would they have said about us if we
And I
had
know
beat the Jaguars 12-7? How would they talk about the Falcons? Because that's what the Vikings did. The
that's
Vikings
true.
only scored 12 points, and to be fair, they held the Jags to 7, but Trevor Lawrence didn't play. They
They
held the
played a
Mac
backup.
Jones Jaguars to 7 points while only scoring 12. I'm like, yeah, they starting to come back down to earth. All right, so like a lot of these teams they scary, but like our schedule is harder. But the beautiful part about sweeping the Bucks is that when you have a 2-game lead, they have to beat you by 3 games, or at least 2.5. All right, maybe if we tie and they win in a slot where we would have tied at, then all right, fine. But most likely scenario, they have to gain 3 games on you to overtake the division, because if not, it's tied and we still win out. All right. So, we just got to keep proper perspective on the season when looking at the schedule, when, thinking about how you feel on an emotional high after a win or after a loss, all that good stuff. All right. Now, going into this game with Denver, this is a game that this is honestly one of those games I would love to see the Falcons win. From an emotional perspective, because this when you want to talk about a game that's going to have a lot of playoff atmosphere, I think this game is one of those regular season games that's around that midway point that's going to have that because of the gravity it has for both teams, right? The Falcons want to stay ahead of the Bucks so that they can stay up in the division. The Falcons just came off of a loss on the road. They got another loss. They got a bye coming up. They want to go into that bye on a win instead of on a 2-game losing streak first of the season, right? The Broncos feel like they should have beat the world champions, the undefeated, reigning 2-time world champions in their building. They were in Kansas City. They feel like they should have won that. They feel like they did win that, and some freaky shit happened at the end with that field goal block, and then they didn't have anything to show for it. All right. They also 5-5, and look, that's that. I don't know if that's gonna cut it. They kind of need that W, and they coming home. They coming home with a lot to prove, and we coming in on the road, and they building with a lot to prove. So this gonna be a game that, from an emotional standpoint, from both teams, I feel like has a huge playoff atmosphere.
Oh,
Right?
absolutely. This is a big who wants it more game.
Oh yeah. And I think they both want it, but I will admit, If you talk about who needs it more, I think Denver probably needs it a little more. You
Exactly.
know,
I'd
this
agree with you on that.
like this an out of conference game for us. Even if we lose, like we can't lose the division lead this week, no matter what happens. You know what I'm saying? Um, because Bucks don't play. Even if we lose, we still a game and a half up on them, and that's not including the division. The sweep tiebreaker, right? But Denver got two teams in their own division ahead of them
Yeah,
in
I
the
was just about to
standings.
bring up the Chargers.
Yeah, so like I don't know, they kind of need it in a different way. But also we know they might want it more just because of Sean Payton, old stink ass.
John Payton has always had it out for us. He is one of the few Saints coaches that have a winning record against us, unfortunately. But thank God he is no longer their head coach. But we still got to deal with him. He is going to be coming for blood
Yeah,
against us tomorrow. Well,
but
I
that
mean, against us this Sunday.
and that's all right though. We need to be coming for blood too, right?
I'm looking forward to it. This is a big test for us. And it's on the road too. And we got to deal with the altitude. This is going to be a real who wants it more kind of game, man. I'm really looking to see what the boys do.
I am too, man. And look, now the thing, this is one of those games I look at, and this is a game that I had concern about, right? And then I guess the thing that one of the things that upset me about the Saints game was, we've been saying all year, right? I think pretty early on we saw that the one thing that was going to be a weakness for this offense is teams that can play sticky press man coverage, and get pressure. You know what I'm saying? If they can just throw off the timing of everything, because that's the main thing that's special about Kirk. His ability to anticipate windows, his ability to lead receivers, his ability to throw to the open spots on the field when the ball's supposed to get there. And with Broncos, they're gonna bump everybody timing off. They're gonna send a lot of pressure. They're gonna be able to get pressure with four, and they still blitz a lot. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna be able to get some pressure with, Zach Allen and John Franklin Myers and Nick Benito. But they send pressure. They want you to get rid of that ball. They want you to get rid of that ball quickly, right? So your guys, in order to be successful against them, your guys gotta be able to win off the line. That's gonna really be about what the receivers do, right? And when we saw the Saints doing that against us, it was like, wow, they're doing this to great effect with backup corners and an okay pass rush like Chase Young and Carl Granderson are their edge. Like they're not the worst edges in the world. That's reserved for us,
Like they
right?
had no world beaters on their defense, like not a
When
one. And I'm just
you
like,
know,
dog, this like I one, it's a coach bump. Two, like they always play up to us. So like it granted it is the 2-7 Saints. Well, I guess not 3-7 Saints, but at the same time, like a rivalry game is always different.
it
Like you
is.
can throw records out the book when it comes to a rivalry game. Like
Hey,
that's any given Sunday, and they got our number.
look, we done been on the opposite ends of a lot of that things. Like there is a reason the rivalry is so memorable. All right.
Yeah,
About to take you down some positive memories too. When Drew Brees broke the record for most consecutive games with a touchdown pass, the game ended in Atlanta with zero touchdown passes and like 4 picks or 5 picks. So, this rivalry that it's a rivalry. Yeah, and it's been games where, we've been high looking like number one seed, we lose to them and vice versa. You know what I'm saying? It's just certain teams, they're gonna always bring their A game when they play you. Like I said, that was just an emotional thing. That's why you end up feeling that way. But when you're talking about the Broncos, so I think they're gonna be able to do that same thing we saw the Saints do, but to better effect. So we basically need to come out already with nothing but a bunch of man beaters as far as play calling and route running. Um, did you have the injury report up? Because I know it looked like it was pretty robust as far as the injuries and how we can attack that defense. Because I think one of the things I noticed they kind of struggle with. So I hadn't like super kept up with it. I don't know the stats, but I do know um I've seen running backs in the past game have some success against them. And I kind of only really even noticed because I don't watch the Broncos like that, but got Kareem Hunt in fantasy, and he don't really catch shit, which is surprising because that was kind of one of his top traits coming out of college, out of Toledo. He was a great pass catching bag, but he hadn't really caught shit for them. All of the pass catches going to Samaje Perine for Kansas City, but then like I just see Kareem Hunt with like 5 catches, 6 catches. I'm like, they want to that's like a point of emphasis to attack Denver in the air with their linebackers covering the bags.
No, I agree. I agree. Um, just so let me pull up this injury report just so we can see.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was waiting for. I was just waiting to see injury report.
All right, so let's start with full participants. We got Drake London,
Okay.
Drew Dalman,
Okay.
Lorenzo Carter, Kirk Cousins, Tyler Algier, and Ryan Newsel. Those are for our full participants. And for limiteds, we got Zach Harrison with an Achilles. We got Darnell Mooney with an Achilles and Grady Jarrett with an Achilles. Man, this turf ain't shit.
Yo, what the hell?
This turf ain't shit, man.
That's
Oh yeah,
crazy.
Troy Anderson and Chris Lindstrom as well, both with knees, limited participants. But I think
Right.
they'll both play.
Yeah.
But as far as Darnell and Grady, I think those are maybe. I think Grady is more just managing it. Darnell, though, he's a receiver. He's very explosive. He runs a 4.3. There's a chance Darnell doesn't play. Like there's a chance that doesn't happen.
Well,
Granted,
we can't afford that.
we can't afford it. We cannot. But if it happens, hey, we got to go with what we got. It's next man up. I still like our receiving core, but we're gonna miss his presence if he can't go. As far as everybody else,
Mr. Speed, yeah.
Yeah, we're missing a lot of speed. So injury report is robust this week. We need this bye week badly, and
You wouldn't by chance happen to have Denver's injury report up too, would you?
I would.
Oh,
Now
excellent.
I'm not as familiar with their players, but as far as I see, everybody on their injury report was a full participant, except for one was limited. So Brandon Jones, position SAF. You know what that stands for?
I guess a safety.
That's what I was thinking. I thought that was safety, but it's usually not abbreviated like that.
No, I know. Yeah, they use
It
the
threw me off.
3-letter abbreviation.
Yeah, but he was abdomen limited participant. But yeah, PJ Locke, Josh Reynolds, Drew Sanders, DeLorean Turner-Yell, Zach Allen, all 4 practices today.
Okay, I definitely recognize most of those guys. So yeah, so basically they come in with a full stack while we come in and beat the fuck up because we gotta come in.
Hey, so Saints did it last week.
Hey, sure did. And look, I was gonna say, man, look, it's football, man. That's part of the process to the game.
And something else I'll say is,
Like
we have showed up to every game. We have not, aside from Seattle, that's the only game we got blown out. I don't think that's gonna happen. It's gonna be a close game no matter what. Like even though we hurt, beat up, struggling, limping into this bye, I think we still gonna be competitive, and I still think we got a real good shot.
Like this is one of those games where I have a lot to worry about. And I think there is a way, if we just matter of fact, let's go ahead and segue into this part. So, you the Falcons, right? We know that the Broncos got a good pass rush. We know they play sticky coverage. They actually play pretty good run D this year, which in some of the past versions of the Broncos, that was how you got over on them. They were like an amazing pass defense, but they had like small alignment. So, you just get downhill, start running on them, and you can move the ball on the ground, shorten the game, and win it that way. But they playing pretty good all around defense this year. They playing pretty good run defense as well. They got the rookie quarterback. They still kind of shaky on offense, but they can run a little bit, but not a lot. I think they just benched not Jaleel McLaughlin. Who's the other one?
Javonte Williams.
Javonte Williams, yeah.
Yeah, I saw that. They just benched him for another rookie.
Yeah.
I forgot his name. Um, I was trying to pick him up on fantasy. Somebody beat me to him,
Yeah, I forgot his name too, but somebody got him. Yeah, I just
but he had a pretty good game last week. So
against the Chiefs defense too. That's not a bad defense. That's a defense that can be had, but they're usually pretty stout against the run. And honestly, apparently, Denver Denver trotting out a good old line. But the thing, like I never know how to feel about that because when they say good pass blocking O line, I'm like, it doesn't take a good pass blocking O line for us to not get pressure. All right, like that's just going back to that shit we was talking about before, where we say, you know, hey, what's the one thing we not gonna rely on when we talk about how the Falcons gonna beat anybody this year? We're not gonna rely on the pass rush, right?
right,
Like you at that point, you be playing yourself. Now, if you just go ahead and accept that this defense can at least be decent without a pass rush, you'll be happier. All right, but if you keep wishing for that pass rush, I'm not gonna stop you from wishing because I hope your dreams come true. But that's all I got
hey,
to say about it.
hey, but can I wish for a good run defense? Because that's feel like that's the only way we're gonna be able to win.
Look, the run defense has been better. They shaky at times, but a lot of times they can be good when they need to. You know what I'm saying? That's how we got a fourth down stop against New Orleans on that first drive. In that second half, they like put the clamps on Kamara. Like I want to say he averaged like I think he might have averaged under 4 yards a carry by the time it was all said and done. And look, I don't know what it is in the second half. I just wish, like, if you want to talk about how do the Falcons win this game, right? And I'm just gonna give keys to the game, but then we'll get into the breakdown of like strategy and what you would try to do. But if we talking about my personal keys to win the game, right? We gotta win the turnover battle, right? Some days we just don't turn it over. Some days Kirk got the butterfingers and he might throw some picks on top of it. And um we this is a team I'm scared of that happening with because they can get pressure and they can play tight press command coverage on the outside. So I'm like nervous we're gonna have like two Kirk fumbles this game. You know what I'm saying?
It can
Except we're
happen,
not gonna
man.
recover it. We're gonna they gonna recover it.
Man, that's the thing about Kirk, man. Like if you touch him, he gonna drop that ball. Granted, he good for recovering his own fumbles, but if you touch him, he gonna drop that ball.
Hey man, I look. We just gonna have to make sure they don't touch them. I mean, look, them are not trotting out, T.J. Watt or Miles Garrett or Nick Bosa or nothing like that. They just got a good coalition of guys that get pressure on their own with just the four. Plus they blitz a lot. Plus they got the tight corners. So we can have some plays that we'll have to probably pick and choose our spots. But if we call our man B the plays at the right time. We'll still be able to find some space. Now finding space against Patrick Surtain, good luck with that. Good luck with that. I don't know if we're gonna be able to do that because he's a bigger corner. He's got a lot of speed. He's physical. Maybe we can try to attack him with trips, or something like that. But that's another thing.
Hey, you know what they're setting up for? A big Kyle Pitts game.
I'm hoping because look, they kind of shaky against on coverage against the tight ends as well.
That's what I'm
But that's
saying,
why I was.
bro.
But I do have a little concern when you said Charlie Warner's not in because that would lead me to believe that if Charlie Warner's hurt, they're going to use Pitts to block more. I already have a suspicion they're going to use Pitts to block more to try to, contain Denver's pressure. And while I think that Pitts as a tight end should be involved in blocking, I just feel like that's a misuse of his value. I'm like, hey, look, if he's 50% the blocker, or hell, if he's 70% the blocker, you know, Charlie Warner is or whatever, but he's like 80% the receiver, or Charlie Warner's only 50% the receiver. Kyle Pitts is. I'm like the relative value there is that Kyle Pitts needs to be out catching passes. There's just way more value to what he does in the pass game. You know what I'm saying? But what I think I want to see is we got to win the turnover battle. We got to get the run going. If we can as long as we can get the run going, prevent from becoming one dimensional, prevent the team from, being in obvious passing situations deep down the field, then I think we'll be able to hang. We'll be able to hang. We'll be able to bang. Um, have a good first half on
Yes, man.
defense. On offense. Like we can't, get behind and then got to claw back into it. I don't want to have to claw back into the game against a good defense. I don't want to have to claw back against um a rookie quarterback when they want if he can run the ball, they want to run the ball. Like no, no. In fact, honestly, I don't think it's likely. But if we can get, a lead on them and like a lead that we can just hang on to, even if it's like 10 points or something like
If we
that.
gotta make Bo Nix throw the ball to win the game, I think we can
Right.
win.
And I've been watching him. He's getting better. Um, his mobility is he's starting to truly realize his mobility as far as like not just being a guy who runs down the field, but just extending plays to buy time for his receivers. Right. And that's one of the things we always worry about when we playing mobile quarterbacks, boy. It's never really the rush yards. Like, we'll get the rush yards sometime, but it's all them sacks we'll miss that then turn into huge plays for them. Like that's the part where I'm nervous about. Like Denver already, not really giving up a bunch of pressure, but when they do, Bo Mix, he gonna probably be able to get away from it. Unless we think now if we can play that good run defense, because that's the other keys. The defensive keys is to get them into third and long situations. We got to play the run good. Well, Denver's receiving weapons not. I mean, Cortland Sutton's good. I always like Cortland Sutton, but they're not really super impressive. Sean Payton, I watched, some of what Denver does. Denver is pretty creative in their play calling for the run. But if we play disciplined football, if we can win at the point of attack, which is always shaky for us, because sometimes we'll get blown off the ball, and other times we'll see, we'll be able to stop them, whether it be shooting our gaps or holding the gaps, and then it is what it is. But I think if I just say, hey, what's the main keys of the game? We win the turnover battle. We got to have a good first half. We got to run the ball. Honestly, if we can at least play tight coverage against the Broncos, without having to play man, because I'm scared of Bo Nix taking off against man, that'll be another thing. What you think the Falcons need to be able to win this game?
Uh, Pretty much what you said, man. Stop the run. We're gonna have to really stop the run. Our defense is gonna have to really step up. We're gonna have to rely on our stars. I think we can win the turnover battle. I think between he hasn't had the best season, but he's had he was hurt, tweaked his hammy, getting back into full speed. I think Justin Simmons is gonna have a good homecoming game in Denver. I'm hopeful for that. Between him and Jesse Bates, I think we're gonna really have to rely on Troy as well and his coverage ability. We're gonna have to really dial on the run defense. That's where it starts. Really dial in on that and make them throw the ball. Make Bo Nix, a rookie QB, beat us with his arm. And if he can beat us with his arm, I damn near can live with that, bro. I damn near can live with it because that means he did something I didn't think he could do. He could play quarterback at a high level because I think with our secondary, I think he's gonna have to really be able to sling that rock. And I don't and I we gonna see what Sean Payton and Bo can dial up. But as far as offensively, uh Kirk can't turn the ball over. We're gonna have to really establish the run. Really, really focus on like establishing a run. Get that going. Because if Kirk got to throw the ball to win, he can do it. He's done it before, and I believe in him. But I don't think that's a formula to win this game. I don't think this is gonna be a shootout.
Yeah, hey, look, I tell you what. If it's a shootout, I think that favors us.
Oh, it absolutely does. I think so as well. I just don't think this kind of game is gonna be like that.
I don't
I,
either.
I
I
think both teams.
definitely good.
I think both teams are gonna really try to dial in and run this ball and play good defense. and limit
So
turnovers. It's going to be like the team who fucks up the least because this is an important game for both teams.
no, it's I kind of agree with you there because see, my thing is, if we being real, the offense didn't have the worst game last week, despite they only scoring 17 points.
Oh yeah,
Koo
it was
missing 3 field goals. Like if he makes 2 more of those, that's 23.
it
You
was
know
a
what I'm
typical
saying?
post Super Bowl Matt Ryan Falcons team where we could move the fuck out of the ball, but we couldn't score points.
Right, yeah. The offense looked, and honestly, on that final drive, they was cooking up until they gave up that sack fumble where the ball got kicked back. And like the thing that happened when you said that was the worst thing that could have happened, the amount of time you lost on that play, right?
Bruh.
The yardage, the fact that when you get sacked on the play like that, you just burned the first down. So now you got
Mhm.
3 downs. So that flipped the whole situation. But honestly, before that play, they were cooking. The Saints were sweating,
They were.
right?
They were.
Like that was a game where honestly, let me tell you, that's one of those games where you got to remind yourself, hey, uh, when the Falcons won like that, everybody said, "Oh, the Falcons had to get so lucky to win that game." They didn't score an offensive touchdown. They got a pick six and they recovered a fumble on special. Well, yeah, we missed 3 fucking field goals. You know what I'm saying? We had like ill-timed shit happen. Like sometimes that's what happened, and sometimes that was just the game for us. We had one of them games where we was fucking around. We didn't come out right, and honestly, this is a team where the Broncos, where they got a lot of stuff that I'm nervous about, but they can be had. They bleed.
Exactly.
You know what I'm
They
saying?
can be had. That is a team on a similar talent level as us, but I think we can outgun them. I think we're a little bit better. Granted, Mile High City, they got the environment, they got the atmosphere, they got that going in their favor. But aside from that, man, we got the better QB. I think we got I think overall, I think we got a better. I think we have more talent overall on our team than they do, and I think we got a good shot to win.
I think if we can just keep guys off Kirk long enough for him to attack downfield, that's when we can get him,
Yes.
right? And what I really want to see us, and we're not gonna do it, but I really would love to see for us to have Bijan on pass plays, like challenge a linebacker with a halfback choice. You know what I'm saying? Like just let him see if he reading zone and let him see if he reading man. And if he reading man, he got that linebacker one-on-one with him in space. Not a chance. Not a chance. You know what I'm saying? But this is another prime game for Bijan to actually go kind of crazy. Right now, I don't know how we're gonna run the ball. We'll see if Dahlman's in. We'll see if Warner plays. We'll see if we just capable of doing that. You know what I'm saying? But if we are capable of running the ball against them, honestly, it's gonna come down to how well we stop the run against them. But we could probably win that game. Now, if I'm Denver and I'm trying to attack them, I'm having like huge emphasis on stopping the run, right? Because what I'm seeing with the Falcons is we kind of average on the edges as far as the tackle pass protection. Jake Matthews, he's not average, he's above average, but sometimes he can slip down in average. You know what I'm saying? He's longer in the tooth. He was never like an immense athlete. He was just a super technically sound guy, long arms and know how to use them, the whole nine. So sometimes he don't have a game like he had last week. But Caleb McGarry, against the wrong matchup, he can get abused. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you put them in obvious passing situations. So if I'm Denver, the one thing I gotta do is get the Falcons in obvious passing situations because if we let the Falcons run the ball, I'm scared. If I'm Denver's defensive coordinator, I'm scared that we're not going to be able to handle their counter punches if they can keep running the ball, right? Because then now the Falcons going to be on offense, not football offense, just attack. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I got you.
Now they're gonna be on offense as far as how they attack you with play action and all that shit, right? And if I'm them on offense, I'm looking to attack whoever the second corner is. Honestly, if I attack deep, I'm trying to attack deep headed to Justin Simmons' side. So Justin Simmons, I'm gonna be real. He's definitely better than Richie Grant. But I don't ever look at him as the playmaker that Jesse Bates is. I kind of feel like, Justin Simmons kind of has taken a little bit of a step back this year. And
I
it's
think
kind of,
so as well, but I'm gonna attribute that to he had a hammy, those are lingering. He's coming back from it. He's finding his footing. Granted, he got exposed a little bit last week, but I think he'll have a better week this week. I think, especially being back home in Denver, I think he's gonna be ready to show up.
yeah, man, that thing always goes one of two ways. Either you make plays against your old team or they know you better than everybody else on the field and they come for you.
And that's true, but hey, who does Denver have besides for Cortland Sutton? They don't really have anybody. They lost Jerry Judy. They got a bunch of young guys. They don't have any world beaters. They don't have any world beaters on their team in general except for Patrick Surtain.
Yeah, it's just a team of
Solid dudes, man.
yeah,
It's
that's kind
a
of
team
what
of
they are.
solid dudes that are coached well. This is a well-coached team.
But look, and look, and that's why they 5-5. Because
Exactly,
you kind
man.
of do need a little bit of world beaters, though. Like
Yeah.
seriously. All right. So what's your score prediction, Cam?
My score prediction. It's funny. Before recording, I was a little pessimistic. I was like, man, if I'm keeping it a bug, I think things are stacked against us. I'm not sure about it. I was like, man, maybe 27-20 Broncos. But after talking and hearing you discuss how you feel about the squad, us comparing ourselves against Denver, hell, man, this is a who wanted more game, and I think Raheem is gonna galvanize the troops. I think we wanted more. I believe. If I gotta, I want to say this is gonna be a 28-24 game. Falcons. 28-24 Falcons.
I ain't gonna lie. If we score 28 points against them, we better win. Oh, I'll be so upset if we score 28 points against the Broncos and lose.
Oh hell yeah!
Like,
I
oh
think
my
I think I
God.
think we can do it. I think we can do it.
All
What about
right.
you, man? What you got?
Um, unfortunately, I think I'm picking Denver.
Oh man,
Um,
somebody had to do it, dog. I feel it.
it wasn't even it's AFC team. I don't know why, but the Falcons are kind of shaky against AFC for some reason. We on the road in Denver, and they do the one thing I think that can really disrupt the pass game. But I'm gonna be honest though, I don't really feel confident in picking Denver. I'm trying to just
Be
like
real.
leave all my emotion out, but but my football brain get a little confused too picking this one, because I think me picking against the Falcons is also a little bit of an emotion. It's like a visceral reaction to the Saints thing. Like, all right. So this is what I want to say. Matter of fact, but before I even pick, because maybe I will change my mind. Right. So if the Falcons would have won against the Saints and been 7-3, and the Broncos would have won against the Chargers, won against the Chiefs and been 6-4, would I still be picking the Broncos in this game?
You wouldn't. They did beat the Chiefs in Kansas City. If you think
That's
about
what I'm saying. That's the hard part. It's like, if like when I try to take the emotions out of it, I got to say, all right, if I had the joy of us beating the Saints, and but I also had to contemplate Denver beating the Chiefs, you know what I'm saying? And we going in Denver, how would I feel? How would I pick this game? You know what I'm saying? I'd look at it, and look, the other thing too when you talk about picking this game is the Falcons have not lost back-to-back games this year.
they
Falcons have a
haven't.
winning record on the road this year, right? And amongst those teams that they beat on the road was Philadelphia. You know, now with Philadelphia, we were able to get the run game going that night. You know, the thing about this one is if we're gonna be able to get the run game going against them, and it's also always a little hard reading how well they do, how well of a run team they are, because like, all right, like, so I think they beat the Bucks 26-7, right? And I think they put the Bucks run game on clamps. And when you look at the Bucks run game today, you say, "Damn, they put that run game on clamps. They did good." But the Bucks wasn't running the ball like that back then. They still was kind of shaky. It was like later in the season that they started really like running the ball down teams' throats. You know what I'm saying? Then you also see that what did they start? I don't think they was able to do that against the Ravens. It's the Ravens though, so I'm not gonna hold them. But I am saying they couldn't stop them from doing it.
That's true. That's
Who
true.
else? The Chiefs. You know, the Chiefs kind of they God bless the Chiefs. They will run the ball they will run the shit out the ball for the sake of balance. But as a Kareem Hunt fantasy owner, I can confirm they do not run the ball efficiently no matter who they playing. All right, it ain't got to be Denver Broncos good defense. They'll run the ball for like 3.9 a clip no matter who they playing.
Isaiah Pacheco coming back this week, so we'll see
No,
if that
fuck him.
changes.
He better sit down some more, man. I need to ride this wave. Shit, I need at least like 2 more games out of Hunt, man.
No, I feel you. I feel you,
Shit.
man. It's playoff. It's a playoff push, man.
Like I'm like, bruh, not now. I'm
Hey,
like, I
with
was doing
injuries
something.
right now too, I cannot. Hey, I'm glad I started off with a good lead because things ain't looking strong. Things ain't looking good right now. Injuries are piling up.
Bruh, it be like that, man. I don't know. I think I messed up the other day, and now it's coming back to roost. And I feel like I messed up because I didn't stick with my gut, right? So I had 3 quarterbacks on my roster. I had Sam Darnold, Trevor Lawrence, and I had picked up Russell Wilson. But then I had to pick up somebody for some reason, and so I had to drop one. And I just started Russ, and Russ game was kind of, so I was just like, I'll just toss him back in there. Sam Darnold should be fine, and it looked like Trevor Lawrence starting to come back, even though his stats is kind of his fantasy stats end up still being kind of good, right? And man, I'm like, Darnold's shit in the bed now. He's awful. And I'm mad because I knew he was awful. And that's why I'm picking the Falcons to beat the Vikings right now. Before we even get to that game, everybody all scared of the Vikings and shit. I'm like, no, Sam gonna go back to being Sam. Damn, y'all stop being all fucking scared over Sam Darnold. Damn, calm down. Damn. Y'all niggas act like that. y'all acting like this was fucking Joe Montana over there or something. Like that's Patrick Mahomes. Damn. Shit, Donald on his like fourth, 15, man. Relax. He'll be all right. Damn. But yeah. Fuck the Broncos. Falcons win 24-17.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, man. Fuck that. I was gonna pick the Broncos, and you know what? The Broncos got everything they got on defense. They got the recipe to slow us down on offense, but the offense kind of hadn't really been shut down. They always just have these moments of where they don't execute. Right, like the Seahawks game, you see 14 points. You would think the offense struggled. They didn't really struggle. They didn't really struggle. They just fucked up on some plays. Cool missed a kick that game. We had the turnovers and the untimely penalties. Like Jesus Christ, that was awful. And then we get this game where Cool missed 2 missed field goals on the block. And one of those was definitely in the red zone. Like we just the offense I think has figured something out where they're not matchup proof yet, but if they don't make mistakes or turn the ball over, they are at least formidable. Matter of fact, nix that. Make it 23-17. I don't think we're scoring 24, but I think we're scoring at least 23 this week, and I think that will be enough.
I think so too. I think so too. I think we can hold their offense in check.
Yeah. Now maybe I'm just being optimistic. Like I said, when I put on the emotional roller coaster hat. I say, hey, how I feel about this team if they would have won versus da 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 da. But at the end of the day, um, I want to see a Falcons W. I think this is going to be a hard game for the Falcons, but it's not an unwinnable game.
That's
Like,
what I'm saying, bro.
like my
It's the who
mom-in-law
wanted
say
more
they want to lose,
game,
but I'm
bro.
like, come on, man, this ain't like this ain't the 72 Dolphins. Like this ain't the 2013. Was it the 2013 Broncos with the super explosive
Yeah,
offense?
yeah. They end up getting shit pumped in the Super Bowl. But yeah,
Hey, but that offense was a chainsaw though. That offense was.
these dudes ain't world beaters, bro.
That's what
These
I'm
dudes ain't.
saying.
These are the
Like,
five and
hey, this
five.
ain't the 2015 Broncos over there.
This is the 2024 5-5 Broncos.
Like,
They
damn, keep
can
some
be had.
perspective.
They can be had.
So yeah, let's not, yeah, but we'll see. All right, anything else you want to talk about Falcons related before we head on out, Cam?
Hey man, I think we've said enough. I,
Hey man, y'all heard the man. So thank you so much for joining us today. We really enjoy your company. Please like, subscribe, leave a comment, share the video, hit the little bell so when you know some real niggas uploading. Have a good one. Peace.